Certain way out there, his peace of mind, he knows he'll find.
What were the most important westerns in the genre? Whatever the movie genre, we can usually point to a handful of individual movies that for whatever reason became important, perhaps moving the genre forward, redirecting, or reinvigorating it. Western movies evolved from the very beginning of cinema, from the Great Train Robbery, through the silent era, early sound, keeping pace with society and the changes within the culture. Some actors became legends, like John Wayne. Many made their indelible marks. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I appreciate it.
Take it easy, Gatewood. We may need that fighting before we get to the...
We all have it coming, kid.
Some legends will never be forgotten.
Unforgiven, 1992. Director, Clint Eastwood. Retired Old West gunslinger William Money reluctantly takes on one last job, with the help of his old partner, Ned Logan, and a young man, the Schofield Kid, winning 4 Oscars. Cast: Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris. Unforgiven is known for its turn to a darker, deconstruction approach to the Old West. The film explores the moral ambiguity of the era. No one character stands out as a hero. Complex characters driven by relatable motivations. The brutal realism of the 19th century has since become standard in modern westerns, like Hostiles. Eastwood directed several films. Unforgiven stands out as the one that showed us just how really skilled he was behind a camera.
You still have that Spencer rifle, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and that don't mean I'm gonna go back to being the way I was.
Are you really gonna kill them cowboys?
Assassins. Or men of low character.
We're farmers.
You bloody savages! Assassins!
Oh, I guess they have it coming.
We all have it coming, kid.
Some legends will never be forgotten. Some wrongs can never be forgiven.
Any man don't want to get killed. Better clear on out the back.
Stagecoach, 1939. Director, John Ford. A group of people travelling on a stagecoach find their journey compromised by the threat of Geronimo and discover something about each other in the process. Cast: John Wayne, John Carradine, Andy Devine. The story of a small group of passengers on a stagecoach travelling from Arizona to New Mexico. The group are told that Apache are near and to be ready for possible attack. Stagecoach is one of the most influential films of its time, thanks to its focus on its characters. Each of the film's cast members contributes something important to the story. An epic tale of survival and an examination of how the West could bring out the best in people. Despite its age, the film continues to be recognized for its contributions to cinema.
He's got to know all about you. You didn't answer what I asked you last night.
Look, kid, why don't you try to escape?
I gotta go to Lordsburg. Why don't you go to my ranch and wait for me?
Wait for a dead man.
Tombstone, 1993. Directors, George Cosmatos, Kevin Jarre. A lawman's plan to retire anonymously in Tombstone, Arizona, are disrupted by the kind of outlaws he was famous for eliminating. Cast: Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, Powers Booth, Michael Biehn, Charlton Heston, Jason Priestley. Tombstone marks the turning point in the Western genre as it moves away from period drama into an action-heavy type of film, known for shootouts and frontier justice. An action flick with an endless quotable script that redirected the genre in a new direction. Since the 1990s, many westerns can be seen by those influenced by Tombstone versus those by Unforgiven.
Charlton Heston.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Once Upon a Time in the West, 1969. Director Sergio Leone. A mysterious stranger with a harmonica joins forces with a notorious desperado to protect a beautiful widow from a ruthless assassin working for the railroad. Cast: Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson, Claudia Cardinale, Jason Robards, Gabrielle Fazzetti. The story of two men, Cheyenne and Harmonica, who protect a widowed landowner from an assassin, Frank, on his way to kill her. The definitive spaghetti western, mastering the slow tension of the Old West. Its characters are out for themselves, and the changing alliances, as well as the dangers of the West. The film has made a visible inspiration on later filmmakers, like Quentin Tarantino, taking direct references from the movie. The Searchers, 1956. Director John Ford. An American Civil War veteran embarks on a years-long journey to rescue his niece from the Comanches after the rest of his brother's family is massacred in a raid on their Texas farm. Cast: John Wayne, Jeffrey Hunter, Vera Miles, Ward Bond, Natalie Wood. Some scenes make for uncomfortable viewing, an exploration of prejudice, and a tale of family devotion and justice. Edwards is written as a good man, though guided by his hatred to the Comanche, so much so that he almost does the unthinkable. By no means was the film the first Western epic, but its scale was almost unmatched by the films that came before. Not to mention John Wayne getting his famous "That'll be the day" line from this film, later picked up by Buddy Holly.
Did they... What was she... What do you want me to do? Draw you a picture? Spell it out? Don't ever ask me. Long as you live, don't ever ask me more. Searching way out there, his peace of mind, he knows he'll find. But where, oh Lord, Lord, where?
High Noon, 1952. Director Fred Zinnemann. A small town's retiring marshal, Will Kane, receives word on his wedding day that a cold-blooded killer he sent to prison, Frank Miller, has been released and is on his way back to town. Cast: Gary Cooper, Thomas Mitchell, Lloyd Bridges, Katie Hirado, Grace Kelly. Despite its excellent story, it was a controversial film when it was released, with many criticizing its critique of American society and the way it highlighted the need for collective action, while some recognized the film as an exploration of the value of civic duty. Others, like John Wayne, saw it as anti-American, so much so that he actually made the equally iconic Rio Bravo as a response to it. The film has endured as a truly significant piece of fiction, with Kane's famous tossing of his star moment, influencing countless law enforcement movies in subsequent decades. True Grit, 1969. Director Henry Hathaway. A determined young girl enlists the help of a tough US Marshal and a Texas Ranger to track down her father's murderer in Indian Territory. As the unlikely trio ventures into dangerous lands, their quest for justice is complicated by their differing motives and the harsh realities of the Wild West. Cast: John Wayne, Glenn Campbell, Kim Darby, Jeremy Slate, Robert Duvall, Dennis Hopper. Based on the Charles Portis novel of the same name, True Grit revolves around Mattie Ross, a teenage girl seeking revenge against the man who murdered her father. Westerns have long shown the journey over the destination. No movie captures this as well as True Grit. It was True Grit that finally earned John Wayne his only Oscar. Its success marks a peak in Wayne's career. The Coen brothers revised a more faithful and arguably superior adaptation of the novel. It's tough to overstate the significance of True Grit on its genre at the time.
I will not go. Now, how do you like that?
Now, you mean to say that you won't go with me on your own free will?
You just got it the other way around. Now, you will follow me. I didn't think you'd do it.
I mean to kill you in 1 minute, Ned, or see you hanged in Fort Smith at Judge Parker's convenience. Which will it be?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
No grit, Rooster Cogburn, not much.
The Magnificent Seven, 1960. Director John Sturges. 7 gunfighters are hired by Mexican peasants to liberate their village from oppressive bandits. Cast: Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, Eli Wallach, Robert Vaughn. Inspired by Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai. The Magnificent Seven tells the story of 7 Old West gunfighters who joined forces to protect a small Mexican village from bandits. Among the first westerns to adapt Japanese movies, the story of the samurai in Japan very much reflects the styles associated with Western gunfighters. The ensemble cast showed how not all westerns need to focus on one lone hero. The film's star power helped it. This trend of reworking samurai stories continued into the 1960s and 70s, with westerns like A Fistful of Dollars continuing the success.
A place like this? Why? A man like you? Why?
Shane, 1953. Director George Stevens. A weary gunfighter in 1880s Wyoming begins to envision a quieter life after befriending a homestead family with a young son who idolizes him, but a smouldering range war forces him to act. Cast: Jean Arthur, Van Heflin, Brandon DeWilde, Jack Palance, Ben Johnson. The story of its title hero, a farmhand who is later revealed to have a violent past as a gunfighter, working for the Starrett family on their homestead. Shane steps up as their protector against a ruthless cattle baron, Rufus Riker, who is intent on using his henchmen to drive the family from their home. Shane, the foundation for a subgenre within the Western. The retired gunfighter, despite trying to put his past behind him, is drawn back in by a sense of doing the right thing. So important that it formed the basis for James Mangold's Logan, paying direct homage to the movie. Shane's final talk to Joey is a poignant one, as the hero describes the impact of violence and killing on a man who defined the Old West. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1967. Director Sergio Leone. Called Sergio Leone's masterpiece, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly follows the man with no name as he teams up with a local outlaw, Tuco, to scam the law. He collects the bounty, frees Tuco from hanging, then moving on to the next town. Cast: Clint Eastwood, Eli Wallach, Lee Van Cleef. Westerns have always had a sense of adventure. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is an Old West epic, raising the bar for its genre in every way, from Ennio Morricone's score to the tense standoffs. The spaghetti western began to take hold in Hollywood. The Eastwood epic became inescapable, often cited as the best film in its genre, and for good, bad, and ugly reasons.
Interesting facts about famous people.